So today we're going to be talking about rounding our numbers and also talking about some of the dangers that you'll run into when you round your numbers. But before we jump into what can possibly go wrong with rounding, let's first talk about how we're going to round our numbers. Now, when we round, the first thing we need to know is to what place value we are rounding to. You can't round your number without knowing what place value you first need to round to. That's because depending on how big your number is, you can round to many different place values and get many different answers. So the first thing we want to do is determine the place value we are rounding to. Determine the place value we are rounding to. Once we know that, we can then proceed with doing our question. So let's say we have 132. This is our number. 100. I'm gonna actually move it down a bit. Give me some space. Let's say we have 132. And we want to round this to, let's say, the tens place. Well, that's going to look pretty different than rounding to the hundreds place. They're going to look very, very different. So we have to know which one we're shooting for. We can't just say round this number. So we're going to, let's say, round this to the tens place, the nearest 10. What do I mean by rounding? Well, we're going to either round this up or down, and that's going to be dependent upon the place value to the right. So if we're rounding to the nearest 10, we're going to have to look at the place value immediately to the right. So that's our next step. Look, or let's say check place value to the right. So we want to check the place value to the right, and we want to determine if that is going to make this go up or go down. Are we rounding this number up or are we rounding it down? And if our place value is, let's say, greater or equal to 5, we're going to round up. If our place value to the right is less than or equal to 4, we're going to round down. So when we look to the right of where we're trying to round, we look at this digit. Is this greater than or equal to 5? Or is it less than or equal to 4? If it's greater than or equal to 5, we're going to round up. If it's less than or equal to 4, we round down. But what does rounding up and rounding down mean? When you round up or round down, one thing that you're going to do is you start at this digit, look at all the digits to the right of it, and make them all 0. The first thing you want to do, make them all 0. We don't do anything else with these digits. It doesn't matter how many digits you have. It doesn't matter what those digits are. Every digit to the right of this digit gets made a 0. Now, we have to determine, are we rounding up or rounding down? Is 2 greater than or equal to 5? No. So we're not rounding up. We're rounding down. Whenever you round down, the place value you're rounding to doesn't change. It stays the same. So 3 stays a 3. And all the digits before this place value also stay the same. So you bring that down here. So if you were rounding this to the nearest tens, 132 would become 130 because 2 is not greater than or equal to 5. Now I said it's going to depend on what place value you're rounding to. We did the tens place here, but what if for the same number we did the hundreds place? So let's say it was 132. We want to round to this place value. We need to look at this place value now to determine if we're going to round up or round down. It's to the right. Is this greater than or equal to 5? No. So it means it's less than or equal to 4. So that means, once again, every digit every place value to the right of this one gets a 0. And this one stays the same. So rounding this 132 to the nearest 100 makes you get 100 because we're not rounding up, we're rounding down. Let's say instead of 3, this was 7. 172. Now, looking at this, it's greater than or equal to 5, so we're going to round this up. We're still, once again, going to make these 0. That never changes. However, because we're rounding up, the place value we're rounding to adds 1 to it. We need to add 1 to this. So 1 plus this current 1 gives me 2. So rounding up is going to give me 200 from 172. But notice that when we had 132, we rounded down to 100. So this is what I mean by rounding up or rounding down. So now that we've covered rounding, let's talk about what can possibly go wrong when you round. So I know this section is called What Can Go Wrong, but just because we round doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. Rounding is actually very, very beneficial in math. And actually a lot of different sciences. Rounding helps us get approximate values without having to be too much in the weeds of the actual values. Sometimes the actual numbers are very, very complicated. Whereas if we can round it, we can still get a good idea of what we're looking at without needing to necessarily have exact numbers. So rounding can be very, very, very beneficial, but it doesn't mean that it's always beneficial. So let's say that we were collecting surveys and we did 4 surveys over 4 months. And let's say for survey 1, so survey 1, we had 128 people do that survey. That was in our first month. Survey 2, we did 153 people. Survey 3, we did 171 people. And then survey 4 was pretty bad. We only got 101 people to do that survey. If you were just trying to get a rough idea on how many people did all of your surveys at the end of all of your surveys, adding up all these numbers, not terribly complicated. However, it would be a lot simpler if you rounded the numbers. You have nice round numbers. Let's say we round this to the nearest 100. That means this is going to go to 100, right? Because we're looking at this digit to the right and it's less than 2. So we're going to make those zeros and keep that the same. This is going to go to 200 because that's equal 5, right? So we put these zeros and add 1 to this. This also goes to 200. Same reason, this is greater than 5. So these zeros add 1. This is going to go to 100. Now, at a glance, if I asked you to add this up really quickly, could you give me an answer? Maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. But at a glance, if I asked you to give me something here, this would be a much easier example to add up, right? 2, 4, 6. Roughly 600 surveys were done over 4 months. It gives you an idea of how many surveys you did without necessarily having to be caught up in all the exact math. If you just need a rough estimate, rounding is very, very helpful. But on the same note, rounding can be very, very hurtful because let's say each and every person who filled a survey needed to get paid $10. Well, if you're just taking the estimate and saying, well, roughly 600 people gave us a survey, so I'm going to just times that by the $10, and therefore I have $6,000 to give out. You may not necessarily have enough money. You have to see exactly how many people did the survey to make sure you have enough money, or at the very least, maybe boost this up a bit to make sure you have enough, even if you go over. But if you are trying to get exact numbers, rounding doesn't do that for you. If you need to know how many people need to get paid exactly, rounding is actually going to hurt you. And later on, this concept will be called round-off errors. We have round-off errors in higher level maths, and depending on when we round, how we round, it can really lead our answers astray. So we have to be careful when we're rounding. We can't just round any time and every time. Rounding has its place. It can make things simple, but it can also make things incorrect, depending on what you need. So now that we've talked about what can go wrong and we've covered how to round, let's jump into a quick example and see if we can put all this into practice. Okay, so in this example, let's say you actually own a business and you hire a company to do some work for you. And they give you 4 different bills. Now, you keep your own track of how much things cost, yet the bill looks a little different than what you think you should be paying. For example, the work should have cost you for one bill $10,048. And another bill should have been $9,730. Your third bill should have been $10,569. And your last bill should be $10,365. But you've noticed that this company is rounding your bills to the nearest thousand and having you pay that. Well, we're going to see what happens with our round off error, or our difference, by actually rounding each of these to the nearest thousand and seeing how much more or how much less we're paying. So let's start with our first one. Our first bill, we noticed that this was rounded to the nearest thousand. So we're looking here and we're checking here. Is this greater than or equal to 5? No. So we're going to round down. That means we have 3 zeros. This stays the same, and that stays the same. All right, so let's clean that up a bit. Make that 0. Right? Same thing down here. Nearest thousand, we check that. Greater than or equal to 5? Yes. So, once again, you have your 3 zeros, but this gets plus 1. So 9 goes to 10. How about here? Check that one. Check that one. Greater than or equal to 5? Yes. Always get those zeros. This gets plus 1. So that goes there, and that stays the same. All right. Check, check. Greater than or equal to 5? No. Rounding down. You still have your 3 zeros. That stays the same. So our bills that we received from our company that we hired out looks like this. 10,000, 10,000, 11,000, 10,000. Now, these are nice numbers, but you're paying this money out. How much more or less are you paying for your first bill? So you calculated that it should be $10,048. They're charging you $10,000. So you're actually paying $48 less. So $48, let's use this space up properly. $48 less. So you're feeling really good. Hey, round me as much as you want, you may think. However, when we get to this next bill, you're thinking you should be paying $9,730, but they're charging you $10,000. That means you're going to be paying $270 more. Now you're like, hey, maybe this rounding is not such a good idea. But let's look at our next bill. You're thinking you should be paying $10,569. They're charging you $11,000. That's going to be $431 more. Now you're really getting charged more, way more than what you should be getting charged, and you're not really liking it. Let's check this last one. You're thinking you should be paid, or have to pay, $10,365, yet they only charge you $10,000. So technically, for this one, you pay $365 less. And this is the problem that you can kind of run into with rounding. You're not going to get exact numbers. So if you need to pay exact numbers and they're charging you rounding, sometimes you're going to be paying much more, while other times you're going to be paying a little bit less. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today. And if you did, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. See you again next week.